walking encyclopedia.
We are live. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you.
Happy Thursday.
Hi, I'm Pat Lawson, Muse with Prince George's Bureau Chief Tracie Wilkens, and we're here today to talk to you about retail in the county. So here's a question for you. Are you satisfied with retail in Prince George's County? If you live there, if you shop there, if you visit there? And what would you like to see happen on the retail front? Access to quality retail is a very important issue for residents in Prince George's County. Down through the years, it's been a big challenge. There have been a lot of attempts and failures, but there are some bright spots on the retail landscape. And Tracie Wilkens, you have been looking at what the county's been doing, looking at some of the history, what's worked, what hasn't worked. Let's start with the history and some of the ventures that the county has tried and failed at.
Yeah, we talk about this in the makeup room, Pat. That's how important this topic is to us. When I'm out in Prince George's County, I would say that this is in the top 5 of complaints I hear from residents. Primary concern, public education. Secondary concern, retail, dining, shopping. When are we going to get more of it here in the county?
People are desperate for it.
People are desperate for it. And but I tell you one thing before I answer your question about the history of it. Dave Iannucci, who is the advisor for economic development in Prince George's County, said to me when I told him the top 2 things, education and shopping, he said, but notice you don't say crime anymore. It's not at the top of the list anymore. We are looking at more than 60% drops in crime in Prince George's County. Because of that, retail is having a resurgence. So let's talk about the history of what worked and what didn't work. In the piece, I begin with Landover Mall, and I talk a little bit about Laurel Mall, because these were 2 landmark malls. They were destination locations, not only for Prince Georgians, but for people in the region. They had stores there that everybody didn't have, and folks came en masse. And then we saw around the time that Prince George's County experienced the same rise in crime that DC did, right around the crack time, you know, the crack wars, that there was an outstanding amount of crime, and a lot of it happening at malls, in parking lots, in Prince George's County, at the mall at Prince George's, what used to be Prince George's Plaza. So that had a huge impact on people wanting to come into Prince George's County to shop. And what we saw was that a lot of the anchor stores left, and along with that, the other stores. And some of these malls became shells before absolutely shutting down. The complaint is, it took so long to get some of these malls replaced and to have them functioning that the shopping habits of the people who live in the county have now changed drastically, and county officials are trying to figure all of that out.
Well, and then the habit is, because it's been necessary to go out of the county. Residents go to Annapolis Mall. There's Charlestown Center in Waldorf, and Pentagon City, or Tyson's. The dollars, billions of dollars, have been leaving the county for decades.
Yes. And Dave Iannucci, again, said in our conversation, you know, part of this is the county's fault. A huge chunk of this is the county's fault in this way. Retail started to fall apart, and malls were taking a hit all over the country. This isn't just a Prince George's thing. But in other districts, people tried to figure out how to slow that process down, and they were focused on it. Prince George's County wasn't focused on it for a really long time. And then we had the issues with the pay-to-play schemes. We had the issues with former county executive Jack Johnson and people who were trying to develop in Prince George's having to pay under the table. The ability to get licenses and permits to build in the county was archaic. People were like, we just don't want to deal with Prince George's County.
The county has a history of being a difficult place.
A difficult place to do business and to build. So County Executive Rashawn Baker had to turn all of that around and very quickly. And plenty of folks are saying that he did a good job of that, because now we're seeing malls that are doing much better.
Yeah, so right now there's a resurgence in development. You've got places like Woodmore Town Center, which has been a big hit.
It's booming.
Then you have the Laurel Town Center, and that mall is just so fantastic because the residents actually helped to design it.
Yeah.
They chose the stores.
Yeah,
that's really a model, isn't it?
It really is. And it's such a model that folks from Fairfax County came up to Laurel and sat down with the city council there and asked, how did you guys do this? And how can we do it? And they want to model after that. The thing about Laurel that makes them very different from the rest of Prince George's County is that they have their own zoning commission there. So they have their own local laws. And a lot of that deals with people who live in the community having a say. And it really lent itself to having a successful development here because you had people who live in the city say, here's what I want to see in my city. These are the stores that I will support. These are the places that I will go, and they built it. So it's kind of like you build it and they'll come. And they were a part of the process. So it is a model for what can be successful. We have the Boulevard at the Capitol Center, exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
They built it, and it was this huge grand opening, and they were like, look at all these great stores. And the people who live in that area said, but these aren't the stores we want. And they didn't support it. And then there were also issues of loitering and crime and some other things.
Which really
that
took it
happened.
under.
It did.
And it went under very quickly.
It did. And so now that area is going to be repurposed. It's going to be the new regional medical center, and it's going to be mixed-use development. And in addition to the regional medical center, there's also going to be shopping and homes and restaurants and all of that stuff there as well. So hopefully that's going to work. But that was such a symbol right near Landover Mall. So you've got Landover Mall that's empty and there's nothing there now. Hopefully, the learners will tell you, we want our land here, the learners own that, to become the new FBI headquarters. You got the Capitol, or the Boulevard at the Cap Center, that is almost completely vacant and waiting for new development for the Regional Medical Center. And then you have the Woodmore that's doing really well. So what they're hoping is that developers and retailers, when they go to talk to them in Las Vegas at ICSC, I hope I got that right,
This is where they go to sell
Prince
economic
George's County
development.
to
Yes,
developers
yes.
and to these to the Nordstroms and to all the other stores that people would like to see. So when they go out there, they're going to say, look at how well our Woodmore is done, and they're hoping that it's done enough that they can kind of say, this this is kind of trumping some of the things that haven't been as successful.
So are they saying that here is the buying power of Prince George's County? Look how much money residents have, how much they're spending. Or are they saying, look how well the retailers that have already been here, how well those retailers have done?
They're doing both, and they're also talking about projections. So let me show you. This is all the research I did for this piece. The county gave me all this good stuff. So let me show you some of what they have here. High-end retail market analysis, right? How to get high-end stores into Prince George's County. Retail opportunities. So this is some of what they pass out to retailers when they're trying to get them to come into the county. And then they have fast facts about where growth is in the county is one of the books that they pass out. Economic drivers and catalysts. I'm showing all of this to make the point that the county is studying this stuff, and they have folks who are completely devoted to it. So this is the retail market analysis. They did this back in 2015. It has the latest numbers in terms of households and how much they're making and all that good stuff. I want to point to a quick graph here because this is important. This kind of shows the timeline for what's happened regionally in shopping. So this burgundy line here represents Northern Virginia. And then you have this yellow that represents the district and the suburbs of Maryland. So that'd be Montgomery and Prince George's and the other suburban areas. You can see that Northern Virginia just tops. And Maryland is, doing okay. The districts behind them. These are the kinds of numbers that they show when they're going to these places and the things that they discuss. They talk in this report about that there's a growth with a total of over 28,000 households expected to come to Prince George's County in the next few years. They're saying 55% of people who live in Prince George's County make $50,000 to $150,000. They're expecting that number to go up. How much people make is important when they're looking at retail. And they're also studying buying power. They're saying that there's the possibility of 1.8 million square feet of retail to come into Prince George's County that can be successful in the county. So the numbers are really interesting when you read. And let me say this, in Prince George's County, average households spend more than $34,000 annually. And the average normally, or outside of Prince George's County across the nation, is $22.8 thousand. So the fact that there's more money to spend, they're expecting greater growth. They're hoping that this regional medical center will be a catalyst for even higher paying jobs, specifically in that Largo, Bowie, Upper Marlboro area. So they're saying all of this to retailers and saying, here are the opportunities for you and here's what we have. But they are studying this stuff constantly.
What would you say at this point is still one of the biggest challenges then, biggest deterrents to developers when they look at Prince George's County and they see this wonderful story that's being told and this beautiful picture, promising picture that's being painted? What's still holding them back?
History would be part of it, and just the reputation of the county, believing that it really has kind of taken a turn for the better. So
Is race still a factor?
Thank you for asking that question, Pat, because I asked that question of the economic go-to folks in Prince George's County. I said, there are people in this county who will believe that because this is a predominant African-American county, that's the reason we can't get the high-end retail, and that's the reason that we can't get all of these stores here.
Nice. Commenting about that.
Yeah. Thank you, Brittany. Nice grocery stores, that's a big issue as well. So they say that they wonder if it's about race. And what the economic folks said to me, and this is really interesting, is that in Prince George's County, jobs, education, and crime are the three major factors with attracting retail. They don't accept the argument that it's race. They also say that what makes it difficult is that in Prince George's County, folks have cars and they drive long distances to get the stuff they want.
Well, they're used to doing it.
They're used to doing it. They have to do it if they want, especially high-end shopping. And because they do that, Nordstrom can take a look and say, well, we know the zip codes, and we see how many people who live in Prince George's County are coming to, Northern Virginia or going to Montgomery County. So why would we put another store here? We're doing just fine. So, some people on Facebook, when we did a Facebook Live on this yesterday, were saying, well, maybe we should stop leaving the county and keep our dollars within the county. And it's a really interesting question.
It's
that
a
if folks did it, it's a catch-22. Yeah. If you did that, if you bought just in the county, then would the other, areas say, or the other stores that folks would like to see say, let's put more there? It's a good question.
When you talk about the story that's developing, if you look at a place like National Harbor, which has become our big destination resort, shopping, dining destination.
Another success story.
It's a big success story, and it draws people from all over. But National Harbor is just one. It's one place. What are some of the other, or are there any other big anchors in the county? The county, it seems to me, needs a big economic anchor somewhere else.
Yeah, the county's been working on this. They've been trying to figure out, where is our downtown going to be? Where is our center location to bring in the millennials, to bring people in and live the kind of lives that we would like to see them live here in Prince George's County, where they can get to the metro easily, where they have shopping, where they have good dining options. And the county executive is saying that place is going to be Largo. And so you think about it, we've got the medical center that's going in there, you got the Woodmore that's doing well with mixed-use development over there. They want to put, basically move the county seat without officially moving the county seat, but the county executive wants to see his offices and offices of a number of county departments, and that's already happening all along that Largo corridor. So he wants that place in the center of the county with some of the highest income, median income in that area. We've got the Woodmore over there, the homes over there, the huge mansions where you have football players and wizards and all kinds of people living over there.
There are beautiful communities all around.
There are beautiful communities all around. And so he's saying that this is the area where we can kind of put the flag in and say, if we can grow this, it will spread. It's kind of like a trickle-down theory when you think about it. It's like, let's put more resources. But the county executive would also say, we have to take care of every area around the Beltway. So, for instance, we know that they are working on the Hampton Mall project.
Hampton Park in
Capitol Heights. Hampton Park in Capitol Heights on Central Avenue, where the Home Depot is. Been there forever.
It's totally depressed.
Yeah.
But it's being redeveloped by a church.
Being redeveloped by a church that bought the property, and
Yes.
now they're taking it to another level with mixed-use development. We have right up the street oh goodness, it just escaped me, the mall that's on, does somebody know which mall I'm talking about with the good cookies? What?
The mall with the good cookies.
I know what you're talking about.
The Beltway.
Tell us where that is.
Yeah, no, I can't think of the name of it. It's going to come back to me on Branch Avenue. Someone on Facebook knows what I'm talking about.
All right.
So
Iverson
Mall.
Iverson
Thank you. Which is now the mall at Iverson.
Which is about to get a $30 million.
Is about to get a $30 million redo. So if you look at all of these places, what happened in Laurel, what's happening with the Woodmore, what's happening all along the Beltway, the county executive's plan